James Cole, that doesn't square.
Truth is the truth.
The truth as the special counsel, president's men, president's women, try to explain and justify how and why President Trump is so untethered to demonstrable facts.
He's nuts.
According to the Washington Post,
reading is not what's happening.
He's right.
Coming after the stunning news broken by the New York Times that White House counsel Don McGahn has been cooperating extensively with Bob Mueller and that the president's personal legal team
you guys,
even know everything.
have you noticed how much Mike Pence
telling CNN,
looks like Donald Sutherland in the Hunger Games? Are you ready for that?
President Trump rattled today after learning that White House counsel Don McGahn
are you ready to live in caves and eat gruel
for more than 30 hours, but never provided a full readout of what he told them.
Oh, what did he tell him?
Attempting to downplay the revelation on Twitter, noting he approved the sit-down as he lashed out at Robert Mueller for questioning McGahn for so long, writing, "Anybody needing that much time when they know there is no Russian collusion is just someone looking for trouble." Sources tell CNN Trump wasn't aware of just how long McGahn's interviews lasted until the New York Times published a report this weekend detailing his extensive cooperation.
Yeah, well, we're entering.
While publicly blaming Mueller,
America's always been strange. Okay, rotate my device. Yeah,
McGahn
rotate.
is at the center of several incidents Mueller is examining, including Trump's attempt to fire the special counsel last summer. Trump has often blurred the line on what McGahn's role is, believing at times that he's representing him when really he's representing the presidency. As today, if the meetings were a mistake, McGahn staying silent.
Mr. McGahn, was it a mistake to have you speak without limits to Special Counsel Mueller?
The president's agitation growing as his legal team is scrambling to figure out what McGahn said.
This is somebody's soap opera.
For a full debrief. Rudy
Somebody
Giuliani
on another
he's
planet
relying on
or
what
in
Trump's
another
former
reality
attorney John
is doing
Dowd
this
told
to
him.
us.
I'll use his words rather than mine, that McGahn was a strong witness for the president. So I don't need to know much more about that.
But Dowd resigned from the legal team 5 months ago. Chris Christie blasting the decision to allow McGahn to sit down with the special counsel voluntarily.
Oops.
This shows what a C-level legal team the president had at the beginning in Ty Cobb and John Dowd. Once you waive that privilege and you turn over all those documents, Don McGahn has no choice then but to go in and answer everything. Every question they can ask.
I love it.
And
I
this
love
is not
it.
in the president's interest.
Now, Jake, in light of this new reporting about Don McGahn, the White House is trying to portray his relationship with President Trump as ironclad, saying that they have a great relationship. When the truth is that it is much more torture than that. And these are
He's
two
making
men
America great
months without
again.
meeting
Yep,
one-on-one
yep,
at
yep,
times,
yep, yep.
weeks without speaking. And though their relationship has improved since there's been an opening on the Supreme Court, we are seeing with this statement saying that they have a great relationship.
Great
a statement
relationship.
We're told President Trump dictated to Sarah Sanders to send to reporters. We see how the White House is trying to get on top of this narrative.
and we also know that not everything the White House says is accurate. Let's talk about it with the experts here. Let me start with you. I want to read a key question of New York Times reporting. It says, quote, Mr. McGahn and his lawyer could not understand why Mr. Trump was so willing to allow Mr. McGahn to speak freely to the special counsel and feared Mr. Trump was setting up Mr. McGahn to take the blame for any possible illegal acts of obstruction, according to people close to him. That's pretty stunning, and it certainly undermines the idea that this was all being done in partnership with President Trump.
Well, as a former prosecutor from the Southern District and a 28-year white-collar criminal defense lawyer, it's beyond stunning. It's just unbelievable. It is fundamentally just wrong. I could see where the setup would be a la Dean from the Nixon years, but the reality is that when you go in and you don't exercise privilege, you're stuck with waiving that privilege. But secondly, what's even more unbelievable is that the lawyers and McGahn have not shared, if that story is correct, have not shared with White House counsel, private counsel, and others what question.
Chewy. It's my pig. I need to spend time with someone civilized.
Oops.
Buenas noches.
Buenas
Pick
noches.
yourself a feisty one. Oh, Jane. Oh, thank goodness.
Good heavens, what happened?
Are you all right? We've been everywhere looking for you.
Oh my goodness! Daddy! I was walking
Yes, yes.
Little baby monkey, and I drew a picture.
Yes, go on.
Suddenly, monkey starts crying.
Oh,
and I turn around, and there's a whole fleet of them.
What?
There's an army of monkeys, a huge tree full of them.
Monkeys?
Screaming at me.
Now that's therapeutic Venus. She's very good at this. Oh, really?
Terrified I was, terrified. Suddenly, I was swinging in the vines, up in the air.
With the monkey?
Swinging.
Coming up. You got it, babe.
Bada bing, bada boom. You know what I mean? So, what was real there? The girl going on about the monkeys, the bada bing, bada boom, or, the roasting of Trump on a spit? I mean, poor guy. Didn't he know how could he even imagine that he won the presidency? He's being set up. He's not being set up by Putin. Putin's a bitch. There is a hidden hand. And they are playing us like a violin. And it's a lot more hidden than anyone even talks about. This little story, this little passion of humanity, this little Wagner-esque opera of the dancing bags of water. And then you kind of look, what else happened on the newspaper? Of all the pedophilia that went on. It all goes together. We have the best legislators money can buy. The whole thing is a setup, It's, what does Trump say? Not just fake news, but, it's... So kids, unless you get straight, unless you start breathing, unless you get connected to your Akashic record, it's not going to be pretty. Next 10 months, I don't give it more, 18 on the outside. But before the 20 election, Donnie wants, when the Chinese guy became president of China for life, Donnie said, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I want that, Everything Donnie says is what Donnie does. Everyone thinks he's kidding, but he's not. But he's a moron, so he doesn't know any better. He's being set up. And again, go look how much Mike Pence looks like Donald Sutherland in the Hunger Games movies, We are living in a dystopian movie, 1984, Orwell came from a rich elite family. Anyway, 1984 wasn't like, hey, watch out for this. It was like, hey, this is what's going on right now. End of World War II, Germany bombed into the Stone Age. The Nazis win. This is a passion play of time travel and empires that have been not around hundreds of years or thousands of years, but millions of years, hundreds of millions of years. This whole thing that we are, and this is one of those secular tops of the cycle. We are just in the bleacher seats to watch what's going on, and I'll see you at 7:30. Okay?